Just about set to go here at Ford Field in Detroit, and a pleasure to be joined as always along the sideline. Let's check in with Laura Okmin. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Tom. In their last 10 trips to Detroit, the Bears have lost just once. In that loss, they had 9 false starts. The mantra all week has been poise in the noise. Practices were loud, they were fast, and there was no coaching in between plays. Mark Trestman telling his guys, less verbiage, less thinking. Go out there and let it go. Tom, it's loud.
All right, thank you, Mark Trestman, 57 years old, grew up outside of Minneapolis. Over the last 5 years, head coach in the Canadian Football League with the Montreal Alouettes. And on the other side of the ledger, 47-year-old Baltimore native Jim Schwartz, his 5th year as head coach of the Lions. Went to the playoffs, coach, 2 years ago, won just 4 games last year. This is a talented Detroit team.
It is, and as is typical, you know, the NFL is for not for long. What have you done lately? And Jim Schwartz very aware. You saw at the end of the game last year the sheer emotion, or excuse me, last week of Jim Schwartz getting a win on the road. Both teams know how big this game is. You've already alluded to it. This is the lead, all but at the quarter mark of the NFC North coming out of this game.
Green Bay having lost 2 of its first 3 games and 1 up and 2 down on the year. And of course, Minnesota winless. Chicago won the toss, deferred to the second half. So Robbie Gould puts a right foot on it. And Michael Spurlock 4 yards out of his own end zone. And he is leveled right at the 17-yard line. Laura just mentioned the success Chicago has had coming here to Ford Field. You see the numbers for Matthew Stafford against the Bears during his career. Only 1 win in 6 games.
The key there is the 8 interceptions, Tom. That's going to be the key today. You cannot turn the ball over against this takeaway mad team of the Chicago Bears.
Bears already with 11 takeaways on the season. They led the NFL with 47 of those a year ago. Reggie Bush is back after missing last week's game, and he has the football on first down. And look who makes his presence known. We haven't heard a lot this season from Julius Peppers, and he makes a tackle there on first down.
Well, we've already talked about Reggie Bush and Calvin Johnson. Watch for the tight ends, Brandon Pettigrew and Joseph Fourier. And you could even throw in Tony Scheffler. Because of the absence of Nate Burleson today, we're going to see a lot more 2, maybe even 3 tight end alignments.
Burleson, of course, had the freak accident getting a pizza at 2 o'clock in the morning earlier in the week. Wound up in a single car accident and broke 2 bones in his forearm. Reggie Bush up to the 27-yard line, brings up a 3rd down and less than 2. Chicago defensively.
Well, you start with Julius Peppers, but I tell you what, Peppers has not had much of a big impact yet. He's without a sack thus far this year. But you talk about turnovers, Tim Jennings, Charles Tillman on the back end. They once again lead the league in takeaways to the Chicago Bears.
Now we need to keep an eye, of course, on Charles Tillman. Bothered with both a knee injury and a groin injury coming into play today. He is in the lineup. And down at the bottom of your screen, locked up with Calvin Johnson. 3rd down, they run it. And that's a first down. Joique Bell, who attended nearby Wayne State University, and he picks up the first down.
Now, these are the same plays they're running with Reggie Bush, but Joique Bell brings, particularly in a short yardage, look at that big power. Upon contact, he got another 2, 3, 4 yards. Not that Reggie Bush can't do that, but Joique Bell, packing a good 220-plus pounds, gives you the push you want on a 3rd and short.
Made his first start last week since he was a senior, where he won the Harlan Hill Trophy as the best player in Division II college football. Going all the way back to 2009. Stafford to throw for the first time. Wide open and too tall for Calvin Johnson. He was open down at the Chicago 40-yard line.
And he just missed Calvin Johnson to the outside. He seemed to hesitate a little bit. That kind of outside route needs to be put up early. And we're already seeing that Reggie Bush, they're going to move him around. You're going to see him out of the backfield. You're going to see him out in the slot. You're going to see him in a lot of different positions. I'll try to point him out to you so you know where he's at any given time.
Those were the numbers we talked about earlier. The problems that Calvin Johnson has had in his career against the Chicago Bears. Barely over 100 yards in 2 games combined last year. Good block. And a catch made by Reggie Bush, but defended nicely on the far sideline. And they'll spot it at the 37-yard line, so it brings up 3rd down for the Lions.
You know, I asked Reggie Bush when we had a chance to visit with him. His rookie year, he had about 150 carries with 88 receptions with the New Orleans Saints. Last year, he had in Miami, he had 250 carries and 35 receptions. I said, which would you rather do? He said, I'd rather have the catches than the touches. I said, right answer, because you're going to stay a lot healthier and have a much bigger impact. Not that you can't run on the ball, but obviously what he can do out of the backfield is substantial.
Well, you have Bush in a slot at the bottom of your screen. 3rd down and 5. Good protection. And another missed receiver by Stafford. Good coverage by Tillman, but a good throw, and that's a 1st down. Instead, the Lions will punt it.
Yeah, that's an all-timing type of throw, and once again, Matthew Stafford, like the first throw to Calvin Johnson we saw, seemed to be just a little bit behind. I don't know if he's being a little overly cautious against a Bear team that you know is really capable of taking the ball away, but he's got to let go of the ball just a little bit earlier than he has thus far.
Rookie punter out of Appalachian State, Sam Martin, puts a foot on it, and the always dangerous Devin Hester juggled the football, made the first tackler miss, and then caught from behind by that same tackler, Don Carey. So now we get a look at Jay Cutler in the Chicago offense for the first time when we return.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
First possession of the game offensively for the unbeaten 3-0 Chicago Bears. This drive starts from their own 30. First down. And it's Matt Forte for a gain of close to 5. Jay Cutler, since coming over from Denver in a trade in 2009, has played brilliantly against Detroit, winning 7 of 8, 12 touchdowns, only 1 interception. The 12 wins. Or the 7 wins, I beg your pardon, the most by any Bears quarterback against the Lions, going all the way back to 1950. Gain of 4, so 2nd and 6. Good protection, and that throw right on the button to Brandon Marshall, and that's a 1st down for Chicago.
Well, now you talked about the timing of Matthew Stafford. Watch how Jay Cutler, top of the drop, let the ball go to the outside to Brandon Marshall. Anytime he sees one-on-one on Brandon Marshall, and we talked about how the safeties are going to have to drop down into this front of the defense to account for Matt Forte and the running game. Cutler's going to go at Marshall every time they give him a one-on-one matchup.
47-yard line, 1st down. Cutler out of the shotgun, throws wide open. Martellus Bennett is tight end down the middle of the field, and he's inside the 25-yard line.
Well, Martellus Bennett is flexed out from the formation a little bit. On the outside was Brandon Marshall, and obviously you get mesmerized by the big plays of Brandon Marshall right down the middle. That's where a tight end makes his money, 20 yards down the field between the hashes.
Bears have come racing out of the gate the early part of this season. They have scored 38 points in the opening quarter. That is most among all teams in the NFL. Cutler, short drop pump fake, looks to the corner of the end zone, and it's caught but out of bounds by Marshall. Rasheem Mathis is taken over as a starter from the rookie as Darius Slay in coverage.
This is a spectacular catch. I think the last time we had him, Tom, we talked about you ought to get some points for that. Just 1 or 2 for style points, because that's a spectacular catch high into the outside in the proverbial back shoulder, taking that thing off the rim. Boy, you'd like to give that catch something.
Marshall to the sideline on his 2nd down and 10. Forte met by DeAndre Levy. And he's down to the 22-yard line, maybe a gain of a yard, perhaps two. It brings up a 3rd and long for Chicago on their opening drive.
Now we talked about the rookie right side of Kyle Long and Jordan Mills blocking for Matt Forte and Brandon Marshall. He's already on pace for another 100-catch year. This would be his 5th in 8 seasons.
Bears on 3rd and 7 or longer, second best to Denver in the league, converting on 53%. Butler. Completed pass to Alshon Jeffrey, but well short of the 1st down. And out comes Robbie Gould and the field goal unit for the Bears. Gould kicking this season with what he says is a chip on his shoulder. The Bears elected not to give him a long-term contract at the end of last year. But boy, he has been money in the bank. The most accurate kicker in Bears franchise history. 34-yard attempt. Good snap, good hold, and right down the middle for Robbie Gould. Boy, he's as good as they come in the league. Couple of big completions on that drive by Cutler. They settle for 3.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Jay Cutler taking his team on their opening possession down the field, getting the field goal. It's 13 points now on their first drive of the year. Last season, the Bears scored on their opening possession 17 points for the entire season. Michael Spurlock, and again, not much running. Great coverage for Chicago. That's Anthony Walters. Stafford bring his team back on the field for a second time when we come back.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at your local Jaguar retailer today. By Moto X, designed by you, assembled in the USA. And by State Farm, it pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Poor field position for a second time for the Detroit Lions. Going toe-to-toe with Lance Briggs and this Chicago Bears defense. Stafford out of shotgun. His own 17. Puts it in the hands of Pettigrew, and that's a gain of 12 on 1st down.
Tom, the eyes of the NFL are everywhere. Even in pregame here, you see this is the clothing police for the NFL. He catches up with Tim Jennings. He's checking for knee pads, for thigh pads. He's providing a list to the coaches in the different clubs. He caught Tim Jennings here. It's kind of like when I go out, my wife tells me, well, is that how you're going to be dressed? Well, evidently not. So is that the pad you're going to wear? Evidently not. He had to put an extra set of thigh pads in there.
Reggie Bush into the open field. And across the 45-yard line.
You talk about bringing a DB down to build the box. Well, when he gets there, you better make the play. This is kind of an 8-man front. It's you and him, and I don't know that I like that combination. Conti coming down one-on-one with Reggie Bush with way too much room for his liking.
Of course, Bush arrived with a bang week 1 in his Lions debut. 90 rushing yards, 101 receiving yards, including a 77-yard touchdown. But he injured his knee week 2. Did not play last week, and he is off and running today. That'll be a gain of 12 for Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush now, he's already sizing up the hole because there's a lot of moving parts. He wants to see the rotation of those linebackers and whether he's going to cut back. He hesitates, then no, says the hole's right in front of me. Gets another big gain.
Down to the Chicago 44-yard line. 4 early carries, 37 rushing yards for Reggie Bush. Joy Bell in the backfield. They fake it and look down to Durham. And again, another another missed receiver early on here today by Matthew Stafford. Clearly not sharp to start this one. We know who is sharp, and that's Curt Menefee back in Los Angeles.
And so is the rookie Mike Glennon, making his first NFL start for Tampa. Hooks up with Mike Williams on an 8-yard score. Williams nicely gave him the ball after his little move here. And Tampa's got a lead 7-0 with their new quarterback, Tom and Brian.
How about that? You surprised by that move, Brian?
Not really, but I'm surprised Mike Glennon started with a touchdown pass. This guy's a bit mechanical in the pocket, but I tell you what, the confidence he's going to drive, taking his team down, getting that first score is huge.
This time a good throw. And the first catch by Stafford. He finds Calvin Johnson. Tillman on the coverage, and they'll move the chains again.
Talking matchup on the backside. Tillman right now, I'm not sure he didn't think he was going to get a little inside help, at least a presence by the linebacker. Those slant routes are tough to stop by a DB if there isn't a presence by the linebacker. Of course, Briggs got pulled up with the quick play fake.
That's the first completion for Stafford to a wide receiver early on in this one. Under 6 minutes to play in the opening quarter. The Lions on the move after that 14-yard gain. Pettigrew wrapped up by Jennings down to the 25-yard line. 2nd and 5 upcoming for the Lions.
These guys are huge. You know, the big receivers in the game, that's the vogue thing. Everybody says playing long. Well, it's 6'4", 6'5". These guys have a big sweep spot. Quarterbacks love big receivers because, as Matthew Stafford told us, you can miss a little bit and still get a reception, although Matthew Stafford, he may need a 6'9" or 6'10" guy in there to start. He's been off just a bit.
7-play the drive. Take the end around. Stafford rolling, slings it to Bell out of the backfield. He spins out of one tackle on a first down to the 14. This Jordan Bell's a nice player. He's come a long ways and bounced around to get here out of Wayne State. And of course, he'll get a lot of playing time with Nate Burleson down. They're going to use both Bell and Bush a great deal. Henry Melton, sadly, tore his ACL last week. He's on IR. We've talked about Burleson already. And at right tackle, Corey Hilliard starts his 3rd consecutive game in place of the injured Jason Fox. Bush dropped it.
Yeah, Reggie Bush knows it. It's the classic, look the ball into your hands. Don't turn up and run before you get the ball in your hands, and he knew it.
See, the Bears have been quite stingy in that red zone with their defense. 2nd down and 10. Ball rests at the Chicago 14. Pettigrew very close to a first down. Needed to get to the 4-yard line. Got a good block by Calvin Johnson. We'll see where they spot him. He looks to be about a foot short.
Well, we said the tight ends were going to play an increased role in the offense today due to the injury to Nate Burleson. Brandon Pettigrew came in the same draft as did Stafford, and they kind of grew up together. He's been absent from the offense a little bit, been victimized by a few drops, but they've got a good, big tight end receiving corps here.
Can play the drive. 3rd and less than a yard. Joyke Bell next to Stafford, and he gets the ball. And it doesn't look like he got there, so decision time now for Jim Schwartz. It's one thing to go forward on a 4th down in the 4th quarter with a 3-point lead as he did last week in Washington. But what about now? He says field goal.
Yeah, he probably looked at this and said, this was a steel wall by the Bears. He wasn't even close to getting that. And right now, only down by 3, and you already commented on how tough this team is in the red zone. Right now, this early in the game, I'll take an evened up 3-3 tie.
So you like this move?
Yeah, you know, you can always push for the going it on 4th down, but this is the smart thing to do.
23-yard field goal attempt by David Akers, and that will knock things at 3. 2:40 to play in the opening quarter. NFC North, Tillman and the Bears tied with the Lions at 3. Great to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon from the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan. Brian Billick, Laura Oakman, our entire Fox crew. And Ndamukong Suh and the Lions getting set to take the field in this 3-3 game. Hester, 3 yards out of his own end zone. Good coverage. And is the ball loose? It looked like it squirted out of there. And the question now is, who has it at the bottom of that pile?
They call this the black and blue division. What's going on underneath that pile right now is aptly named.
And Mike Carey, our referee, backpedals 3 steps and says Chicago football.
Tahir Whitehead does a nice job of ripping this ball out away from Hester. No question the ball comes out. He's pulling. He's not down yet. And then boom, all of a sudden, that ball is out.
Bears able to get on top of it. First down, and Cutler steps into the throw, and incomplete on first down. He had an eye on Brandon Marshall. We know all about these Lions up front, starting with Ndamukong Suh and the rookie Ziggy Ansah.
Yeah, and the back end defensive coordinator Gunther Cunningham told us that Quinn and Delmas are the key to this defense.
Oliver Quinn, of course, coming over from Houston. Spent his first 4 years with the Texans, his last 3 as a starter. Forte to the outside. There's Delmas. Boy, that's a nice open field tackle made by Louis Delmas. And we send it back to Los Angeles to Kurt Menefee.
And another NFC North team, Minnesota. They switched to Matt Castle this week due to the rib injury to Christian Ponder. It's paying off so far. He hooks up with Greg Jennings, the former Packer, with his first touchdown as a Viking. 70 yards on the score. It's 10-0. They lead Pittsburgh in London. Tom and Brian?
The Steelers still in search of their first win. Meanwhile, here it's 3rd and 8. Take the handoff. Cutler to Forte. Outstanding coverage and a good tackle in the open field by Tulloch. Also had a little help out there from Mathis. There is a penalty flag down, and Mathis is injured. Talked about Mathis.
Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty is still 4 down.
I believe they said the penalty was on Ezekiel Ansah, the rookie out of BYU. So it would bring up a 3rd down and 3 when we come back as they attend to Mathis down on the field injured. 2nd-round pick Darius Slay out of Mississippi State started the first 2 games of his season at cornerback, was benched in each of those 2 games. Rasheed Mathis goes to the sideline injured, and Slay into the game after the penalty where the Lions had the Bears stopped. They get another chance. 3rd down and 3 for Chicago. Cutler throws into traffic, and it's intercepted by Delmas.
This is a brilliant play by Delmas, maybe anticipating that Jay Cutler would go after Slay. He's got his eyes on the ball. He sees this in route breaking in and steps right in front of it. Brilliant play by Louis Delmas.
Of course, Delmas missed 13 games a season ago with that degenerative knee. They felt like he had his best game last week in the win over the Redskins, and off to a great start here today. First interception for Cutler in his last 181 pass attempts against the Lions. Fake to Bush. Lay it off to Bush. Got a block from Calvin Johnson that springs him for an additional 7 yards. Well, that's good blocking by a guy you're paying a lot of money to catch passes down the field in Calvin Johnson.
What did we say in the open, Tom, that not just in the running game, which is so pivotal for Detroit to get cranked up, but it's the catches out of the backfield. He gets 4 or 5 of those. That wasn't a screen. That was just a little drop off. He started to check, he blocks, and then leaks out. And those are the kind of chump change throws that a quarterback loves.
Bush is top on the ground. That's a nice play. Coming up to make the tackle by DJ Williams. 8-year starter with the Denver Broncos. Came as a free agent to the Bears. A lot of people wanted Jonathan Bostic, the second-round pick out of Florida, who had a great preseason. Williams missed a lot of time injured, but he came up with 2 sacks and a forced fumble in the win at Pittsburgh last Sunday night.
Calvin Johnson's been a little quiet up to now. Might be a good place to go to him if you want to throw it.
Lions have to spend a timeout. Well, they did that. That's the end of the quarter. They let the clock go down. So 3-3. And the Lions knocking on the door to take their first lead of the game. Set to begin the second quarter here at Ford Field in Detroit. Lions with a second down and 11 at the Chicago 18-yard line. Reggie Bush has been a busy man here in the early going, as you thought he would, Coach Billy.
And they're moving him all over. He's in the backfield. He motions out of the backfield. He's in the slot. He's outside the wide receiver. It's okay. You're going to stop Reggie Bush. It's like, where's Waldo? You've got to find him first.
Somewhat surprising on a third down that Bush is on his way to the sideline. But we mentioned Joyce Bell. Ran for better than 400 yards last year. Also caught 52 passes out of the backfield. Stafford. Calvin Johnson. No. He did not get both feet in. He did catch the ball. But again, a field goal try.
Well, this is like the Brandon Marshall catch. You don't get any points for it, but really pretty good throw. Just a little bit late, as we've been saying. Got the 1 foot down. This college ball would probably be fine. Beautiful catch. Caught it through the process. Just didn't get that other leg down.
No, ball came out. Safe to say here that that Stanford is not very sharp early on today.
It seems like the ball's out just a touch late, which is lethal in the NFL.
31-yard field goal by Akers is good. So the Lions have their first lead, but they've had a couple of chances deep in Chicago territory and could not put it into the end zone.
Now you talk about the league is constantly saying, see what you hit. Obviously coming in there with his head down, Rasheed Mathis now has to go through the league protocol checking for signs of concussion. This is repeated all over the NFL every weekend. It's the classic. It's been that way as long as I've been in this game. Keep your head up and see what you hit. Right now he's checking the results because I think he wants to go back in.
Well, the Bears defense stands tall after the Cutler interception. And we'd like to tell you that coming up later tonight on Fox, do you have what it takes to survive the return of Animation Domination? 2 epic hours that'll give all your senses a workout. Season premiere of your Animation Domination favorites. Kristen Wiig guest stars with The Simpsons. All that tonight, right here on Fox.
You stole my promo, man. That's because you like that animation domination.
So, you know, when we had our production meeting last night,
executive decision.
You were the guy. I don't know how it turned out that I got that card, because that should have been you. You were all about animation domination.
You took it from me. That's okay.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah, you would.
Well, maybe, but not intentional.
Well, the Bears got to feel good about what they've done in the red zone. And most defensive coordinators will tell you, if you want to be good someplace, there's a lot of things to be good at. Third down conversion, yards per catch, sacks. But most of them will tell you red zone efficiency, keeping them out of the end zone for a touchdown, would probably lead the list of every defensive coordinator's wish list.
You know, the Bears have turned the football over already 6 times this year. It's not a high number, but they turned it over 6 times. Opponents had only scored 16 points off those 6 turnovers. That's getting it done on defense.
Huge, huge. And so far, Detroit's been good. We knew the last time they won here in Detroit, it was a big rushing day by Jahvid Best, and they had only 1 interception by Matthew Stafford. That may be why we see Stafford just a touch late on the throws, a little bit cautious.
Well, of course, Mark Trestman coached for many, many years here in the NFL, but the last 5 seasons north of the border, won 2 Grey Cups with Montreal. And that's just a start, Brian, of our Canadian connections. Jay and Don, of course, at Fox Sports Live. Geddy Lee and the great band Rush, inductees this year to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. And even Nate Burleson, born in Alberta, Canada.
We left off an old Bear that's now with Detroit, Israel Adonijah, University of Manitoba.
And you know their mascot,
the Bisons.
Very nice. From the 20, on the end around, they give it to Alshon Jeffrey. They like running this play, and when you run it like that, why not? Close to midfield. That'll be a 27-yard gain on first down.
You're going to see, and the Bears told us early that they were going to rely on a good deal of misdirection. That interior line of the Detroit Lions, you know, it's an old principle of physics. When a body in motion stays in motion, when it's a big body like Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley, that's like turning a cruise ship around. It takes a little while. So they were going to rely heavily on misdirection plays.
Please don't ever bring up physics again. For me, it was watching at home. And they pitch it to Forte. He's inside the 30, and Forte will dance his way to the end zone. 53-yard run by Matt Forte. Got blocks from Jeffrey and Marshall on the outside.
You're going to see Willie Young come inside with the little play fake to the fullback. Gives up that edge for Matt Forte. Nice job blocking down the field by Alshon Jeffrey.
Third rushing touchdown for Matt Forte, and just like that, Chicago recaptures the lead. 2 running plays spanning 80 yards. Jeffrey on the end around, and untouched is Forte.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you've got to get DirecTV. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by Pizza Hut. Prep for game day by ordering online from Pizza Hut. Make it great.
That's the original Wiener mobile.
That Henry Ford Museum, we were out there on Saturday, is spectacular. I had no idea. It's 10 or 12 acres of memorabilia, Americana. You got to bring Polly and the kids up, because that was I had no idea that was that much there. And they say only about 10% of what they have is displayed. It's incredible.
Spurlock for a third time going to bring it out. And for a third time, he is denied the 20-yard line. After the big Forte touchdown run, 10-6 Chicago in front. 13:37 to play until halftime, and Chicago with a 10-6 lead. When Matt Forte in his career, he has just worn out the Detroit Lions. 53-yard touchdown run. And now Reggie Bush and the Lions try to answer. It's been a big first half for Bush, and he's up to the 32-yard line. That'll be a gain of almost 15 for Bush.
This is exactly the kind of run you want out of Reggie Bush. He's just going to get the ball, little counter step to get the defense moving. Look at those feet. Reggie Bush is a lot bigger man than you think, but obviously those feet and then the explosion once he gets that rhythm going downfield.
Bush with another big hole. Before this game started, Coach Billick, you came out and said you can talk about Stafford, you can talk about Cutler, you can talk about Marshall, you can talk about Johnson, but you thought the running backs would be the guys to keep an eye on, and that is certainly true so far.
The last time the Lions beat Chicago here in Detroit, they cranked off better than 180 yards and run, and only one turnover by Matthew Stafford. So far they haven't had the turnover, and they seem to have the running game cranked up.
This was an offense that was the most lopsided offense in all of the NFL a season ago. They threw it more than anybody ever into coverage, and that is great coverage by Tillman on Calvin Johnson. The Lions had the second most passing yards in the NFL last year, but Brian, they couldn't run it a lick. Best went down. By the time they finally settled on LaShore and then Joyce Bell came on strong at the end of the year, they rarely ever ran the football.
Every quarterback wants to throw the ball, but nobody wants to throw it 700 times because that means you are one-dimensional, and a lot of bad things happen when you throw the ball that much.
And that's what we talked about. 66% of the time they threw it. Most in the NFL this year, they're about the middle of the pack. And they're scoring more now that they're running more. Detroit spends a timeout before this second down and 10.
Let's go back to that touchdown run by Matt Forte, because usually it takes good blocking down the field. We talked about Alshon Jeffrey, but watch Brandon Marshall at the top. He takes that outside defender down, and watch this. Nothing better for a receiver, maybe even better than a touchdown reception. Going to the sideline after a big block, getting the pats on the back. And right here, Willie Young's trying to explain, how did you get caught inside? He's saying, I saw that fake handoff to the fullback. All of a sudden I turned. That guy was to the outside, and I ain't catching Matt Forte.
You know, it should be noted, we brought up the injury to Henry Melton and what that means to the Bears. Let's not forget Jason Jones, very talented Lion left end, went down for the season with an injury last week, and Willie Young is starting in his place. Play fake. Scheffler down the middle of the field, and that's to the 30 in the first half. Infrequently used Chelsea, Michigan native Tony Scheffler, just his third catch.
And what we see around the league, a quick play fake, gets the linebackers to step up. Briggs can't ride the tight end long enough, at least not legally. Quarterback raises it up, hit it right over the top of the trailing linebacker.
Scheffler had a couple of really good years after he came back home. We mentioned a Michigan native, and then tailed off at the end of last year. Barely ever hear his name this year. Bush just trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. He may have lost a half yard. Let's check in once more back in Los Angeles with Kurt.
Well, the Houston Texans off to a good start against the #1 defense in the league, Seattle. Arian Foster, a little 5-yard score from Matt Schaub. It's 14-3 right now. Texans in front at home. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
A lot of people in the NFC watching this game, because the last thing anybody wants to do is to have to go through Seattle in the playoffs. Anytime you see AFC versus NFC, those NFC teams kind of pulling for the AFC team, particularly against a good team like Seattle.
Second down and 10. Underneath. Catch made by Pettigrew. It's a gain of 9. Third down and a yard coming up. Hey, Seattle should have lost their first game of the year on the road. That was that game down in Carolina when the Panthers was going in for the touchdown and they fumbled on the 8-yard line, D'Angelo Williams.
But every game in the NFL is going to be tight. You got to love the way they're playing defense. Russell Wilson, not necessarily the big numbers right now, but very efficient. They're running the ball. They are probably as complete a team as Seattle as we've seen in the league in quite a while. Offense, defense, running the ball, throwing the ball, good pass defense, good pressure on the quarterback.
We're in a long one, and they're going to throw it, and it is dropped. No sooner did we say Tony Scheffler has been a pretty dependable guy. He drops what would have been a 3rd down conversion, and again Detroit's offense stalled.
We talked about Stafford being a little off to start with, but he's not off in here. You couldn't get that any more accurate as if you walked down the field and handed it to him. We saw that same kind of drop in the Minnesota game, Tom, in the same situation that put them in the same situation to have to settle for 3 instead of 7.
41-yard field goal try, and Akers nails it. But having to settle for 3. It's like having to settle for par, Brian.
I'd take fun.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cadillac.
Got a good one going on here in Detroit. Bears 10, Lions 9. Dave Burleson trying to lift the spirits of one Tony Scheffler after that drop on 3rd down and 2.
That or he's saying, my hand's in a cast and I could have caught that. I just put it back there and grabbed it.
Hester from deep in his own end zone. And out across the 25. Flag comes in late. Up to the 28-yard line is Hester. But again, we await on the penalty. It came in right after he was tackled.
Oh, boy.
Personal foul, necessary roughness, horse collar, defense number 52 from the end of the run, 15 yards, 1st down.
Rocky McIntosh here. I don't know if he actually got his hand. He's going to reach in here, right here, and boy, right there. Looks like it just kind of scrapes the back. I don't know that he actually got it inside. That's kind of a tough call. You've got to get your hand in behind the pads and pull a running back down.
Of course, 2 years ago, the Lions were the 3rd most penalized team in the NFL. They got roughly to the middle of the pack last year, and again, they're among the league leaders in most penalties this year. And that was nearly a 2nd interception thrown by Jay Cutler, and it could have been a 2nd return for a touchdown by DeAndre Levy. You may remember Levy in week 1 did return one for a touchdown. It was taken away on the block of John Sullivan by Ndamukong Suh. Suh was fined $100,000 for that shot block. He has that on appeal. And then Levy came back the following week and returned 165 yards for a touchdown against Arizona. Forte nowhere to go this time. And before this 3rd down, we once more check in with Kurt back in Los Angeles.
Oh, let's check in London again. This time it's Adrian Peterson. Nice 60-yard touchdown run. Sweet moves on the way there. Steelers in a 10-point hole. Each team looking for its first win of the season for the 2nd quarter. Tom and Brian.
All right, Kurt, thank you. Bears 0 for 2 on 3rd down thus far today. That really hasn't been a big issue. And a flag. There may have been movement. If that's a false start, that's the first one of the Bears all year.
Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty still 3rd.
The Bears last year had 25 false start penalties, 5th most in the NFL. And that is their first under Mark Trestman.
Well, Laura talked about the noise early and how Mark Trestman tried to prepare his team. You got the rookie Mills kind of flinched a little bit, turned a 3rd and long into a 3rd and $20 cab ride.
nowhere right from the start. Darius Slay, the rookie, in coverage on Marshall.
I want you to look at the punter here now. When you come in, you see Potlish come in. They do it differently here in Chicago. Normally, your punter sits at about 14 or 15 yards. But Joe DeCamillis, the special teams coordinator for Chicago, you're going to see here, he's got him stepped up here, and actually he's a little bit deeper. Normally he's standing up in here, much shorter. I don't know if there's something in the pass rush or the outside edge of the Detroit Lions. They look for a quicker punt than most teams that put their punt returner at 15 yards.
Spurlock into the open field. He's off to the races with a punter to beat. And run out of bounds. Potlish able to slow him down. And the Lions, after the big return by Spurlock, have the ball at the Bears' 22, 58-yard return.
And that quicker punt ends up being on the coverage team, not quite getting in position, as is typical of big punt returns. If you can get everybody collapsed into one side of the hashes and then bounce to the outside, the gunner come down and missing. At the very least, you've got to slow him down, and he just flat misses him, and he bounces to the outside. Joe DeCamillis can't be liking that, boy. You don't see the special teams coordinator unless something bad happens, and that's bad.
Johnson got a block from Scheffler, and that's a gain of 9.
This is the difference in that Detroit Lion team you talked about, Tom, last year, that was so one-dimensional, where all they could really do is throw the ball in. With Joique Bell, with Reggie Bush, they have some options here. They're a team that, if they want to, can try to run the ball into the end zone and just not throw up 3 and 4 straight passes.
Second and 1, Bush, and very close to a first down. Need to get it to the 12, and that's right where they have it marked. Wrapped up by Julius Peppers. And it appears as though they're about a foot short. What's big play right here? If Chicago, after that big return, is able to hold them to at least a field goal try, waning confidence would have to be the story for the Lions.
And they've got both Joique Bell and Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush, they flank out here into the slot, either to pull attention and hand it to Bell, or maybe find him on a short pass.
They throw it to Durham, and he is down close to the goal line. Chris Durham, who had a big fourth-quarter reception last week in the win over the Redskins, comes up with a big third down catch here.
They're going with the no huddle. They're trying to catch Chicago without making a defensive call from the sideline, forcing them to do this on the run.
And the ball is loose. Is it a touchdown for Stafford? Still waiting for the signal, and it is a touchdown. Whoa!
Wow. Chicago is about to come up with, again, one of its patented turnovers. He just figures, I'm going to break the plane, and he did not break the plane until he caught it the second time.
Looked like Briggs was the one who jarred it loose, but right back into the waiting arms of Stafford. And a touchdown for the Lions. They'll look at it just to make sure, and they did. It is confirmed, and now the point after by Akers to give the Lions a 6-point lead, which he does.
Just the way you drew it up, boys. Just the way we practiced it on Friday.
All set up by the big return of Spurlock. First touchdown of the game for the Lions. 58-yard punt return by Michael Spurlock, setting up the great field position, and the Lions only need to go 22 yards to come away with their first touchdown. Although the heart did skip a beat or two for Jim Schwartz.
Yeah, like I said, that's not the way we practiced it on Friday, but we'll take it.
So now Hester. Deep in his own end zone, once more brings it out. And this time is dropped short of the 20. Well, as always, we love to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world, watching our telecast in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFM. The American Forces Network, we cannot thank you for all you do. Defending the greatest country in the world. God bless you all. Stay well. So 6:02 to play until halftime. Cutler has hit on 4 of 8, 51 yards. He's been intercepted. Forte, 5 carries, 60 yards. Looking for Marshall, intercepted. Glover Quinn to the corner of the end zone. Did he get there? No, out of bounds at the 2. Terrible throw by Cutler.
We told you in the lineups that Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, says his 2 safeties, Quinn and Delmas, were the 2 most important aspects of his defense, and these 2 guys between them, each has an interception. He's got him beat to the outside. He's got to account for the free safety. The ball kind of floated and was a little late.
One up earlier than Cutler coming into this game. Eventually reaching 181 passes since he last threw an interception against the Lions, and now he's thrown 2 of them. Bell in the backfield, Stafford under center. They throw the jump ball to Johnson. And that's a touchdown.
Well, this looks like that play that was out of bounds, the difference being earlier, but the difference being here, 1 foot and a cheek equals 2 feet. That's a touchdown, right? Remember the touchdown, or the not the touchdown catch, but at the back of the end zone looked to be the same type of catch, but his hip or cheek did not come down in the field to play, held on to the ball through the process. Touchdown, Detroit Lions.
2 touchdowns in less than a minute. The big punt return by Spurlock. Now the interception by Quinn. 23-10 Lions. Let's check in downstairs with Laura Oakman.
Tom, we've watched Charles Tillman obviously play today. His status was in doubt until game time. Coaches were saying all week he was the first person at the facility getting treatment, the last one to leave getting extra treatment, the first one on the bus today to the field, wanting to show the trainers and doctors he was good to go. What you're not seeing off the field, every time he comes into over to the sideline, a noticeable limp. Most of the defensive series, while they are over on the sideline, he is getting stretched, trying to have a trainer stretch his leg out so that groin area doesn't get tight, but has been in pain the entire game.
Well, it's been a tough season for Tillman, and he's played brilliantly, as he normally does, 2-time Pro Bowler. But he came down sick before week 1. He injured his knee before week 2. Week 3 had the knee injury, added that a groin injury against the Steelers last week. And they did not know if he would be ready to go here today. Cutler and the Bears will get it once more, as Hester once more brings it out of his own end zone. And he's right at the 21. Well, coming up Fox tomorrow, everyone losing their heads over the new hit series Sleepy Hollow. Critics rave it's ridiculously entertaining, fright night fun, daringly bonkers. A new television show this fall, an all-new Sleepy Hollow tomorrow night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox.
It's getting noisy now, Tom. They have energized these Detroit Lion fans. This building could get loud.
How about that note? Johnson, his first touchdown catch against Chicago since 2011. Ashley Palmer drops Forte for a 2-yard loss. Palmer, a special team standout his first 4 years in the league, and a first-time starter.
In the gun here, you're going to watch the guard. He's going to signal the center as to the snap count, particularly with this noise. They've got to account for it. The guard reaches over, taps the center, and it doesn't help.
That's Stephen Tulloch on the sack.
You got to account for the noise. You'll see the left guard, going to reach over. In this instance, Matt Slauson says snap it, because you got to do something to negate the speed off this turf from the edges, but it didn't help.
Third and 21. The Bears will punt.
We'll see if this quick punter makes a difference again. He seemed to have backed up a little bit. They started the season at that 10, 11-yard mark. He looks at a more traditional distance here, not quite as deep as the normal 14, 15 yards. I hope they get a better coverage this time than the last time.
They just punted out of bounds. Right at midfield. So all of a sudden, the Chicago Bears team, and of course, Brian, we've seen him so many times through the years, a team which lives on taking the ball away from the opponents. But today, a Cutler, a pair of interceptions, a big punt return by Spurlock, and the Lions in business again.
And that's the difference in the game. It is not the Chicago Bears getting the turnovers. It's the Detroit Lions. They're also running the ball well. We talked about the last time they beat the Bears here. They ran the ball well with Java Best, better than 180 yards. They only turned the ball over one time. They're running the ball pretty decent, and they haven't had the turnovers that have plagued teams as they play the Bears.
They run it. Reggie Bush on first down, and he loses a football, and it looks like the trailer, Calvin Johnson, able to cover it up, and that's good enough for a first down. It was Tillman who stripped it out of there, and who's been better in the NFL at doing that than Charles Tillman?
Yeah, great hit here. Conti gets in on it as well. Right on cue. I talk about them not turning the ball over, and there they fumble it, but that's a big part of turnovers as well. You can't have free runners. That's on the offensive line, meaning guys hitting you in the backfield before you get there, and receivers have got to trail the play just because of that type of thing.
Give it right back to Bush. Leaps out of one tackler. Reggie Bush to the end zone.
Well, you're going to see what happens here with the Reggie Bush. He starts one way and then he starts back. Briggs overplays it. They seal it on the backside. And typically that's what's going to happen when you have a fast-flowing defense. Reggie Bush can get you started one way, then cut back across the game.
We heard the chants, Reggie, Reggie, in week 1. When he nearly rushed for 100. He had over 100 receiving. And in this, his second home game, Reggie is lighting it up again.
Just the speed. Look at that, jumping, leaping over the defender, and now this is the key. You're in midair, you land, and you accelerate out of the jump. Very few athletes have that kind of speed and athleticism. Boom! All of a sudden, he's off to the races like he's starting 100 meters out of the blocks.
That was Major Wright.
He's begging for a commercial here, I think, Rioli.
Dominic Raiola, boy, you talk about a guy who's seen a whole lot of tough football. This guy's been through an 0-16. He's been through 2-14 seasons. He's been through 3-13 seasons. A starter since 2001. I think he likes having Reggie Bush on his team.
Yeah, and we're going to test these Detroit Lions now. They've been through a lot of adversity. Well, how do you handle success? Right now, that's going to test Jim Schwartz's team. With a little over 2 minutes, Jay Cutler, plenty of time to take his team down the field. Try to pull back the emotional swing.
Well, it started with Spurlock, the big 58-yard return. That one popped in the air, but Stafford came down with it. First play later, the interception thrown by Cutler by Quinn. The very next play, they throw it into the end zone, a touchdown to Johnson. And then Reggie Bush, after the punt by Chicago, a 3-and-out.
Jay Cutler's got to be very careful that he's not forcing the ball down the field here. You got plenty of time to make some things happen. They got 3 timeouts, but you can't force the ball.
Now the Bears have gotten a couple of big fourth-quarter comeback throws, of course, from Cutler. Game-winning fourth-quarter drives against Cincinnati, along with Minnesota. But this is the first time they've been in a major hole. They were down to the Bengals. They were dominated by the Bengals in the first half. And then they dominated Cincinnati in the second half. But they're down 30-10. Forte wrapped up by Slay. And that should take us down to the 2-minute warning. And this is going to bring up a third down for Cutler and the Bears. Reggie Bush, 11 carries, 112 yards, and this electrifying touchdown run.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa, proud sponsor of the NFL. Visa, turning football fantasies into...
A very important third down for the Bears. Lions thinking about getting the football back. Third down and 4. Cutler sacked by Ndamukong Suh. And Cutler very slow to get up. In fact, needed help getting up.
We talked about the inside pressure for the rookie Kyle Long. And now he just gets overpowered by Ndamukong Suh all the way back into Cutler. Good coverage down the field.
So the Bears again go 3-and-out. The Lions scored 3 touchdowns in 2 minutes and 36 seconds. The Lions spend one of their 2 remaining timeouts, stopping the clock with 1:55. And Spurlock standing back at his own 40. And again, they angle towards the corner. And that one going to bounce and take a favorable Bears bounce. Boy, Spurlock just gave up about 10 yards by not coming up to get it. Of course, Ndamukong Suh, a track record with a lot of teams. 2010, that big hit on Cutler, had another in 2012. Wasn't fined for the second one, was fined $15,000 for the first one. Earlier this week, Suh came out and said what a great guy Cutler is. Cutler was asked about it. He said, I've never talked to the guy.
Except when he gets up and apologizes for knocking him down.
Their own 32-yard line. Stafford to Pettigrew trying to get out of bounds. He does not. The clock will continue to run in there and hurry up load up to the 40-yard line. Of course, Akers, their kicker, shares the NFL record for the longest field goal in the history of the league at 63 yards. He did it in the season opener at Green Bay for the 49ers a year ago. Joique Bell, a good carry up to the 46. They have one timeout left.
Charles Johnson's on the sideline. I don't know if he's winded or recovering from something. Excuse me, Calvin Johnson, not Charles, but Calvin. Normally he would be a big part of this 2-minute offense. He must be walking something off.
Hill, met by Anderson, but Bell able to drive into Chicago territory, and that clock continuing to run down to 45.
Now he's back on the field, down here at the bottom.
And they've got Zachary Bowman on him down there. Stafford steps up. Crossing pattern, the catch made by Bell. That's to the 40-yard line. And the Lions spend the timeout. It's their last timeout here in the first half. And of course, we have the Visa halftime coming up. How about it, Kurt Menefee?
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Bengals and Browns clash in the battle for Ohio. We'll see what's going on across the pond as the Steelers take on the Vikings. And we promise not to make a Big Ben or Castle in London reference. At least we'll try not to. It's all on the Visa halftime.
Well, Brian, you look at the Pittsburgh Steelers winless on the year. I never thought I'd see it in my lifetime. One of the proudest, most successful franchises in the history of the league.
Well, every team can go up and down in valleys. You got to remember those Bill Cowher teams in years 7, 8, 9 did not go to the playoffs. Sometimes you just have to reshuffle, and they appeared to be in a year where they got to reshuffle a little bit.
All right, Lions with the ball. 40. Down the middle of the field, and Stafford missed a wide open Ryan Broyles.
Yeah, he knows that one was a little high and hot. Needed just a little bit of that drift. We talk about those inside routes, usually tight ends. Got to be 20 yards deep on the hashes. It was there. That thing had some RPMs on it.
Charles Tillman out of the game for Chicago. Calvin Johnson at the bottom of your screen. And again, he's locked up with Zachary Bowman. Stafford looking that way, and it's stripped from behind. And covered up by McClellan. Julius Peppers snuck in behind Stafford and batted it away. So now with 19 seconds and 3 timeouts remaining, the Bears get the ball.
Riley Reef has been holding up pretty good all day. They've not helped him out, and in that instance, it hurt him because Julius Peppers with those long arms pushing the edge of Riley Reef, reaching out with that long paw and stripping the ball. Now all of a sudden with 20 seconds left, a reversal of fortunes with Chicago an opportunity at the very least to get in field goal position.
A 12 takeaway this season for Chicago. Most in the league, and trying to add to the 44 points off of the takeaway. Cutler steps up and underthrows. Brandon Marshall, who was open down at the 30-yard line. Looked like Cutler didn't have his feet underneath him when he threw that ball on the run.
And with 14 seconds, not a whole lot of time, but you got 3 timeouts up here. Chicago can easily get 2 more, maybe even 3 more plays, depending upon what they want to put down the field. With those 3 timeouts, they can pretty much use their entire playbook, including running the ball.
Cutler 7 of 12 for only 65 yards. Wide open and tiptoeing along the sideline. How in the world did Alshon Jeffrey get that wide open? That is a first down at the 10-yard line.
And right here at the top, we've already seen this turn into an interception. He couldn't quite get there. Left just a little bit late, did Glover Quinn, to not get there in time this time for the big catch down the sideline by Alshon Jeffrey.
36-yard gain on a completion, and the Bears first and goal. Pump fake. Martellus Bennett, and that is incomplete. He caught it, but it looked like he did not get both feet in bounds, and somebody threw something at Bennett from the stands in the end zone.
Jay Cutler's got to get the ball up quickly, not only to complete it, but because of the time, must not have handled the ball through the process. As we say, the ball comes down. Yep, the ball moves, comes out right there. Had both feet in, but the ball bounced out. 3 seconds left. The ball's got to come out quick. Or excuse me, got the field goal going. They're going to decide to settle on the field goal rather than one more shot to the end zone on second down.
28-yard try by Gold, and he sneaks it in there. Now remember, the Bears will get the football to begin the second half. They take advantage of a turnover, a forced fumble by Peppers. The Lions with a 30-13 lead. They have taken advantage of 2 Jay Cutler interceptions. Scored 3 touchdowns in the span of 2 minutes and 36 seconds. And Tillman was not on the field that last defensive stand. Will we see him in the second half? We're back after this from your local Fox station.
Bonfire.
We invite you to follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to iTunes.com/NFL. We're just moments away from the start of the second half. 30-13, Lions in front. Chicago will get the football to begin the second half. Let's go inside the locker room, Coach Billick, with some adjustments you might recommend for each of these teams.
Well, with Chicago getting a score at the end of the half, they just got to have, they just got to begin and not panic here. Just kind of restart. Hit the restart button. You don't have to panic and start throwing all over the field. Stay with your game plan. Detroit, we've already seen, you don't turn the ball over, you're in good shape. You turn it over, it's going to lead to points. And for both teams, just don't blink. Detroit, know what it is to have a lead and how to deal with that. And Chicago, you've been down before. Don't panic. Stay with your game plan.
So here we go in the second half. Good kick, and that's through the back of the end zone. And here comes Jay Cutler, who had a rough first half.
Yeah, it starts with the interception to Delmas, then tries to sneak one in on the outside. Quinn picks one off. Then Sue gets home, took a tough shot to the knee there. Been a rough start. Reggie Bush doing what we knew he could do, both out of the backfield, running the ball and catching the ball. They've got to continue to run the ball like this. That's the key for Detroit. And as we said, with Chicago here, you come out with your original game plan. They knew they had to run the ball as well. I haven't seen as much misdirection as they had talked to us about, whether it be the reverses, the inside and outside counter by Matt Forte. We may see it here.
Forte, 6 rushing attempts, 58 yards. 53 of them came on the touchdown run. And a good carry to begin the second half. That'll be a gain of close to 8. Laura Oakland, you had a chance to catch up with Mark Trestman.
I did, and he echoed what Brian said. He was saying the most important thing he could tell his team at halftime was take a deep breath. This is the first taste of adversity we've gotten this season. The second half is when we're about to find out who we really are. Stephen Tulloch, before the game, told me something interesting. He said our goal is to play against our opponent, not ourselves today. Jim Schwartz likes the way he's playing, but in typical Coach Speak fashion, said, we have a 17-point lead, but we left 12 points on the field we should have had. We need to finish those in the second half.
Yeah, that was their problem early on. Field goals rather than touchdown. Second down, they give it to Forte, and that's Sue. Meets him in the backfield. So a third down coming up for Chicago, and some of the numbers Coach Billick in the first half dominated as they are on the scoreboard.
Obviously, turnovers are important, but look at that. Only 5 first downs. And so they haven't been on third down. You're 0 for 5. So if you're not generating first downs on first and second down, and you're 0 for 5 on third down, that's a tough day. That's a lot of 3 and outs.
Well, 3rd and 5 on this opening possession of the second half. clock down to 3. They get it off. Forte met in the open field by DeAndre Levy, and they still have not converted on third down. They'll punt it.
That was a heck of a play by Levy. He came all the way across the formation. Naturally, a Reggie Bush in the open field can be dangerous, but boy, here again, can't get a first down on first and second down, can't convert on a third down, or you give the ball back to the Detroit Lions.
Once again, they angle toward the sideline. You know, the Bears keep angling to kick it away from Spurlock, and they continue to give Detroit great field position. Calvin Johnson, a rather quiet first half. 3 catches, one of them for a touchdown. We'll see him when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
First possession of the second half for the Lions, leading Chicago 30-13. And on first down, Reggie Bush may be back to the line of scrimmage. Reggie Bush, for the first time in his NFL career, rushed for over 100 yards in the first half of a game. His former Heisman Trophy winner, the second pick overall in 2006 by New Orleans. Traded in 2011 to Miami. That was the first year he ran for 1,000 yards. I tell you what, he keeps going the way he's going, and he stays healthy. He's going to be knocking on that door this year. Peppers dropping off into coverage with Bush right there with him. Third down and 11.
And there's the rub, Tom, obviously with the Reggie Bush. You can see here, this is just a little quick throw to the outside. And when you've got a Julius Peppers outside with those long arms, the athleticism, normally you say, let's see, a defensive end on Reggie Bush. That normally doesn't turn out well, but he's such a great athlete. But as you mentioned it, Reggie Bush, the key is what are the touches going to be? If they're going to get him through the entire season, he's not a 350 carry type guy. He's 150 carry, maybe 70, 80 receptions. You can get a lot of mileage out of that.
They dump it off to Joyke Bell. That's a nice tackle made in the open field by Isaiah Fry. Fry taking the position held by Kelvin Hayden, native Chicagoan, who went down with injury during training camp. So Fry has been that nickel cornerback for the Bears. Eric Weems along with Devin Hester. And Hester is going to watch as Weems lets this one bounce into the end zone. Well, for a complete recap of Week 4 in the NFL, as well as everything going on, baseball's final playoff spots on the line. Lane Kiffin fired at USC. Check out Jay and Dan on Fox Sports Live tonight, every night at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific on Fox Sports 1. USC gives up 62 last night in Arizona State and is fired after they land in Los Angeles.
And that will create repercussions through the coaching industry, because that is a coveted job. And once one moves and begins to end, lean that way, then it affects the next job and the next job and the next job after that.
Coming out throwing on first down. And a catch is made by Marshall up to the 45-yard line, hit by Slay. That's a gain of 25 on first down, and Marshall limping to the Chicago sideline.
Now that play took way too long as the ball's up in the air. Slay comes screeching in. Jay Cutler, not knowing Slay was there, was lucky it wasn't intercepted. Don't know if it's the hip or the ankle that he came down on. Just needs a little time on the sideline. Regroup.
Ball a gain of 24. They spot it at the 44. And once more, Cutler to throw. Takes the long ball down the sideline. Jeffrey. Did he get it? What a catch made by Alshon Jeffrey. all the way down to the 12-yard line. He just won that jump ball with Houston and Quinn.
I don't know that you could play it much better than this. Alshon Jeffrey time, little pushing and shoving, but nothing egregious there. And just almost like a back shoulder throw, goes up. He just took the ball off the rim. Houston not having the same ups. I don't know what you tell Chris Houston there to do any different.
So now Chicago bangs on the door.
Brandon Marshall's back on the field.
Looking for Martellus Bennett. And it's incomplete. Second down. Not a good game thus far for Cutler. 53 of the 63 came on a touchdown run by Forte. Jeffrey 3 catches, 86 yards. And don't forget, he had the big run that set up the only Bears touchdown in this game on an end around.
Martellus Bennett's on the outside, going to motion back inside. Usually they try to run some kind of rub combination here. Nope, just going to run the pitch.
And Ndamukong Suh able to shove Forte to the ground. It brings up third down. 9:40 to play in a third.
So far, Chicago's 0 for 6 on third down conversions. They got a 3rd and 5 here to see if they can keep this drive alive, if not into the end zone.
Jeffrey. And batted away by the rookie Slay. Well, here's as though Mark Trestman might be debating this 4th down call. And now goes with the field goal unit.
This ball needed to be a little bit higher, made it tough on Alshon Jeffrey. We already seen that he can win the jumping battle. And it looks like, you know, they were able to finish off the half with the score. Now you get this, makes it 30-16. We talked about the Bears just restarting. Now that makes this a manageable game. You've got it within a 2-score differential. You know, that's not as big a hill to climb.
25-yarder is good off the foot of Robbie Gould. So the Bears go down the field. 9:05 to play in the third. They're down a pair of touchdowns. Well, 3 red zone possessions, 3 field goals. Of course, the Bears' only touchdown came on that 53-yard run by Matt Forte. And now with 9:05 to play in the third. Spurlock bring it out again. No, this time probably was told at halftime. One of the adjustments. Don't do that anymore.
Yeah, he's bringing it out to the 15. You're losing 5 yards every time you bring it out, son.
Lions with the football in front 30-16. We have a long way to go in this one, Coach.
Yeah, and they've got to do just what the Bears did. Just kind of restart. Don't worry about the fact that you got a 2-touchdown lead. Just come out with the same game plan you came out with to start the game.
Of course, a big part of that game plan, when healthy, is the man who has the ball right now. That's Reggie Bush. We mentioned in his Lions debut, that was the opening weekend here against Minnesota. He had 90 yards rushing. He had 101 yards receiving, including what was a 77-yard touchdown reception. That's it right there. Injured his knee week 2. Week 3 didn't play, and today for the first time in his career, he carries for over 100 yards in one half. Stafford guns it in there, and hanging on to the football is Pettigrew, and that's a first down. And we check in back in Los Angeles with Kurt.
New quarterback for the Vikings. It doesn't matter much when you got the old Adrian Peterson in the backfield, right? Second touchdown of the day. He's over 100 yards already midway through the third quarter. And they've got a 10-point lead over the Steelers in London, looking for that first win of the season. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Of course, both of them looking for their first win of the season. Thank you very much, Matt Castle. Making his first start as a Vikings quarterback after the injury to Christian Ponder. It's Jordan Bell for a yard.
Detroit has taken on a running scheme that's pretty straightforward. The interior of the offensive line with Sims and Raiola and Warford are doing a nice job against the interior of the Chicago Bear line, which is a little undersized. Henry Milton obviously down for the season. When I say undersized, I'm saying 290, 295 pounds. That's still pretty good, but not the huge beef that you see on the other side with Detroit having Sue and Farrell.
Second down. Big hit. And Pettigrew shaken up. Got sandwiched in between Wright and DJ Williams. But apparently he's all right. Well, maybe. He started to walk to the Bears sideline. Maybe he's not all right.
Yeah, this is life in the NFL as a tight end. Most of your catchers are going to come at that 4, 5, 6 yard level in between the linebacker and some corner or safety coming in from the outside.
Pettigrew got his bell run. He'll come over to the Detroit sideline. Third down and 5. Bears looking for a stop to get the football back. And thrown over the head of Theo Riddick. So the Lions once more will be forced to punt. 2 possessions, 2 punts here in the second half. And all of a sudden, a little bit of that momentum beginning to come back to the Bears' way.
That's what we said about restart for the Bears. Don't panic. And if you are the Detroit Lions, don't blink. You've got the lead. Well, they just blinked a little bit because now they got to give the ball back to the Bears. We'll see if they can take advantage of it and bring this back into a 1-score game.
Big punt by the rookie Martin. And Heston, a 7-yard return, tips those out of bounds at the 17. Cutler and the Bears thinking about the end zone, not field goals. Down 30-16. Coach, the Bears have been using an additional lineman for a couple of series now to begin this second half. 62, Evan Britton joining that regular group. Little additional protection for Jay Cutler. Willie Young slowed it down, but Forte slips a couple of tackles, cutting it back up to the inside. And he's to the 22. That'll be a gain of close to 6.
Was that the same play that the Bears gashed him for in the first half? Willie Young said, not so fast, not the second time. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. There's Britton again, whether it's an unbalanced line, a big line for the run, or for the added protection. Problem is, with the added protection, you have fewer receivers out.
Forte, a first down up to the 30-yard line. We mentioned Forte. He has had by far more so against the Lions than any other opponent. His best career rushing numbers.
Yeah, and Matt Forte, since he's come into this league, he's just the versatility. You know, at first people thought he runs a little upright. Reminds me of Robert Smith, who I had in Minnesota. Smith had a lot more speed. But the power he generates still running upright is amazing to me.
Forte slips the tackle and still gets positive yardage as he's up to the 33-yard line.
Well, both teams have focused on taking away the big outside weapons. We haven't seen Calvin Johnson do a whole lot. He's had an impact. You're never going to shut him out totally. Brandon Marshall's shown up a little bit. You got to believe one or both of these guys has a big play in them, particularly for Brandon Marshall, to continue to try to get the Bears back in this thing.
Floated for the tight end Bennett, and great coverage down the field by Glover Quinn. Cutler took a shot as he released that football from Devin Taylor.
Yeah, the tight end, they flex him outside the formation to get him a free release. Quinn timing it up beautifully. These are big receivers for the Chicago Bears. With Brandon Marshall at 6'5", Martellus Bennett at 6'5". Alshon Jeffrey is every bit of 6'3.5", 6'4".
Well, it hadn't helped him on third down. Bears are 0 for 7 on third down today. Not sure what happened here. Somebody run into the ball?
Yeah, I think the Lions inadvertently kicked the ball or moved it. And the officials had to stop play in order to let them get reset.
3rd and 8. Great protection. Catch made by Earl Bennett, but there is a penalty flag. This might come back. We'll see.
Illegal hands to the face. Offense number 75. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
That's a rookie, Kyle Long. He can't believe it.
Nah, it got all muddled up inside, and that's just bodies on bodies like a bunch of sumo wrestlers. All of a sudden, you're just punching and shoving, and the hand works its way up. You're going to see him on this right side right over here. Seeing he gets pushed back in and just pushing and shoving, pushing and shoving. And, well, I don't know how you decide whose hand was on whose face in that one.
Third down and 18. Cutler fires over the middle. It's intercepted for the 2nd time today by Delmas. 3rd interception overall thrown by the Chicago quarterback. So they had a 1st down, but a penalty backed them up. And then Cutler picked off for the 3rd time today. Jay Cutler picked off for the 3rd time overall, 2nd time today by the free safety Louis Delmas.
Well, it's worth repeating. We said that Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, with all the stars you have with Sue and Fairley, Once on the outside, he says his safeties in Quinn and Delmas, Louis Delmas, were the keys to this defense. I found that very interesting in visiting with the defensive coordinator.
Contact on the right side. Corey Hilliard, Corey Wooten.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 98 jumps into the neutral zone, causing an immediate reaction. 5-yard penalty, so first.
Hey, Corey Wooten developing into a pretty doggone defensive lineman. Came out of Northwestern as a 4th-round pick 3 years ago. Last year had 7 sacks for the Bears. There's talk about playing him a little bit more on the interior with the season injury to Melton. You saw Tillman again on the sideline, and Zachary Bowman replaces him. Bush, a 1st down.
Well, we got to go back to what set this up, which is the interception. Like anything, when you talk about interceptions, there's 4 things that you can point to for an interception. Alshon Jeffrey coming into this giant hole right here in the middle. And again, it's either going to be a bad decision, all right, a bad throw, bad vision, or bad luck. And this one was just a bad throw. He had a wide open Alshon Jeffrey right in the middle, and he just overthrew it.
Reggie Bush thrown to the deck by Peppers. Peppers has been much more active here today.
He has. Like we said to start, a little quiet in the first 3 games. This is a phenomenal talent. Coming out of Carolina, the athletic defensive end. He can do so many things. A lot of people in the day used to say run at Julius Peppers. He's such a great athlete. He's great at putting his hands up, but you can run at him. When this guy wants to crank it up, there are none better.
Of course, he played not only football for the Tar Heels, also a starter on their basketball team. Bush spins away from Jennings. Back to the inside. What a run for Reggie Bush. Boy, that is one big-time run. It might not be a touchdown run. You might not see it on the highlights. This is something.
Well, it's the jump cut and bouncing the outside, then just the spin. That innate ability, you wake up with that in the morning. That's not coached. That's just something that you have. And this guy, when you talk to the coaches of the Detroit Lions, every time you bring up Reggie Bush, there's a smile that comes over their face because they know what he means, that missing X factor that they've missed the last couple of years.
15 carries, 132 rushing yards for Reggie Bush. And now Stafford will slide to the 12-yard line, and we slide our way out to LA to Kurt Menefee.
And the Baltimore Ravens are sliding a little bit closer in Buffalo. Torrey Smith, 26-yard reception from Joe Flacco, edges them within 6 points midway through the third quarter of the Bills. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Well, the Ravens, 7.5 points per game the last couple of weeks, Brian.
That'll change. They are the reigning Super Bowl champ. Don't count them out just yet.
Don't count anybody out. What's he asking you about?
I will see you watching that score.
Boy, you wonder.
Goodness.
Intercepted. Well, you talk sometimes about bad luck. That might have been a bad throw and bad luck. But after all that running, Brian, I got to ask you, second down and what, a yard?
Well, you got
throwing?
And you can see they're all bunched up in here because of that run. That's just bad luck. That's a bad throw. It's behind him, bounces up off the knee. Just enough so Zach Bowman can step to it. This Chicago Bear team is a turnover machine, but sometimes, you know, the football gods just smile on you, say, you know what, I think it's time to give you the ball right here because this game was about to get out of hand, and now Chicago, we're going to give you a chance to get back into it.
Third and a yard. Third and a yard. Second and a yard, I'm sorry. And you're throwing the ball?
The old coach in me is burned up right now.
Well, now you give the football right back to Cutler and the Bears. And dropped by Brandon Marshall. 31 seconds remaining in the quarter. Look, if it goes for a touchdown, you know, everybody says, oh, great play call. But on that last drive, success running the ball. And on 2nd and 1, I've heard you talk many times. That slant is a dangerous throw.
Okay, and I'm going to let you be the defensive coordinator, and you've been having the ball run on you. And it's 2nd and 1. What kind of defense are you going to call? You're going to configure to stop the run?
Yes.
Okay, and that gives me that chance to throw that little slant to the outside.
Well put. They're coming after Cutler. He gets it away through the hands of Forte. 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, the ball, that's got to be a catchable ball to Matt Forte, who has excellent hands. But Jay Cutler, that ball's coming out high and hot. He gets some, and again, there's few guys in the league who have as big an arm as Jay Cutler. He's got to take just a little bit off it. If for no other reason beyond the catch, give him a chance to do something with it once they get it.
Cutler has missed on his last 6 and thrown an interception.
0 for 8 on 3rd down with the Bears.
0 for 9. Ball's loose. Picked up by Fairley, and it's a touchdown. And Ndamukong Suh stripped it. And Fairley into the end zone.
You're going to see the inside pressure coming here, the athleticism. He jumps up, nothing there. And now finishing off over the rookie Kyle Long. Can only hold him out so long. Ndamukong Suh, that jump by the defensive line got Jay Cutler to pull the ball down just one time, giving Suh time to get home and setting up the touchdown for his buddy, Fairley.
Well, now Akers a point after. You said who's going to blink. And after the Lions do you a huge favor by turning the ball over inside the 15-yard line. Cutler, who's been intercepted 3 times in the game today, now turns it over on a fumble, and Now, we talked about this Bears team, how important this game was. This is the only divisional game in the NFC today. And a very important game. Granted, it's only the 4th week, Brian, but the Bears, if they win, they go to 4-0. In essence, a 2.5-game lead in the division. For the Lions, they win. They're tied, and they have a tiebreak.
It's huge because I know it's only the quarter mark, but head-to-head competition,
Yep.
major part of the tiebreaker. I know you're at home, Detroit Lions, but you got to win that home game. What's the formula? Win at home, split on the road. And so this, if indeed they can hold on to this, it's a missed opportunity for Chicago and a huge get for Detroit. But with 20 seconds left to go in the 3rd quarter, as we say, we got a lot of football left to play.
First career touchdown for Fairley, who really is starting to put it all together for the first time. I mean, he was highly touted, #1 pick out of Auburn. Been very quiet until really about the last 4 or 5 weeks of last season before he got hurt. Hester going to bring it out 7 yards from his own end zone, and not a good decision. And frustration beginning to settle in for Devin Hester.
Well, Jay Cutler, it's this kind of day. We talked about Chicago picking the ball up, but here Lewis Delmas gets an interception, and Glover Quinn over the top. This one, you know, obviously, again, unbelievable in terms of just being bad luck right here. Excuse me, I thought this was the interception, but just fumbling the ball. But we're seeing miscues, bad throws, high throws. Right now, Chicago, this does change the game plan now. You may not be able to stick with the run as much as you'd like to at this point, all but with over a quarter left to play.
And Forte, an 11-yard carry on first down. That will be the final play of this 3rd quarter. The Detroit Lions, who won 4 games all of last year, trying to get their 3rd win in 4 games this year. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. 37-16. Set to begin the 4th quarter. A first down and 10 for Cutler and the Bears. 3 touchdowns away, but an entire quarter to try and get there. Flushed out of the pocket, looking for the home run ball, and it's underthrown. That's the 2nd time today Cutler has had to roll out of the pocket and just didn't have enough on the throw and missed a wide open receiver.
Yeah, and they're loving it here in Detroit. You got to remember the recent history of this club. that's well, you know what? Dominican Sue ought to know better, because Nick Fairley is a big boy. I wouldn't be chest bumping, because he didn't go up and up. That was belly to chest on that one.
Is that hitting the defensive player?
That's right. That should be.
He didn't have his helmet on.
That might be fine. He might find that eventually.
Sue will say it's the first time they haven't gotten me. Cutler to Marshall, and that's a first down. Up to the 36-yard line. All right, Brian, you talked about some of the halftime adjustments. Well, now it's 15 minutes to go. You're down 3 touchdowns. Would you be hurrying up a little bit more here, even though it just started?
You know, that, or it's on a day where my offense hasn't converted on a 3rd down yet. I'm just looking for that one good drive to bring it back to the 2 scores. But I am going to pick my pace. I'm going to go no huddle, but I'm going to pick my pace up just a little bit.
It's not that ball. 7 seconds left on the play clock. Did he get both feet in bounds? That is what we're waiting. They will confirm. No, out of bounds. Chris Houston, he was like the wide receiver, running full speed that direction down the sideline.
Now, he had it, but at the last minute, the ball right there, he had to re-catch it, and that brought the right foot to the outside. Right there, right foot, left foot. He's in good shape, but it's right in here, right in here. He didn't, if he hadn't had just that little bit of bobble. We gave style points to the receivers. I'll give him a style point here. I'll give him 1 or 2. We gave one to Brandon Marshall and to Calvin Johnson. I'll give one to Chris Houston.
Bennett leveled by Tubman at the 40. This will bring up a 3rd down and a long 6. And again, the Bears have not converted a 3rd down the entire day. 0 for 9.
Yeah, that big goose egg on the 3rd down, like I said, if you're not doing it there. Of course, Detroit's not a whole lot better at 2 and 8, but they're converting on 1st and 2nd down with Reggie Bush running the ball.
Escapes one hit, and then is that a catch by Marshall? No, he was juggling the ball. Fairley had a hold of his jersey, and then Cutler able to get out of there, actually failing on the trail.
And the ball moves at the end. The ball moves at the end. Again, we keep saying the process. And that puts the Bears at 0 and 10 on 3rd down.
Timeout, Detroit, their first. A 30-second timeout.
So a timeout called there by the Lions. And Cutler and the Bears still searching for the answers. 13 of 29, 184 yards, 3 interceptions and no touchdowns. Well, you can tell you're a little animated over there right now. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and thanks to 2 Cleveland teens and former NFL linebacker and current Fox Sports 1 analyst Scott Fujita. Many children with cancer are enjoying pro football games today, and the goal for 13,500 children diagnosed with cancer annually to see this initiative grow. Go to foxsports.com/Fox Sports Supports for more information. Fair catch made by Spurlock at the 18. Suing Fairley.
And he's coaching him up saying, look, when I do that, you got to stay on the ground. If you get up in the air, you're going to end up on the ground because I weigh a whole lot more than you do.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. By Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. And by Microsoft Surface. Click in and do more.
Back in Detroit, 13-14 to play the final quarter. Lions have the lead, 21, and they have the football, and Reggie Bush carries for maybe a couple of yards.
And this is where Detroit can distinguish themselves from the last couple of years. That they're sitting here on top 37-16. Before, they didn't have the capability of running the ball to finish out a game. And that's going to present an opportunity down the field because Chicago's going to make something happen. They got to start dropping the safety down in here, knowing that they're going to start running the ball, even though they're emptying it out right here. Some opportunity is going to present itself. Bears got to make something happen here, and they're very good at doing just that.
Durham across the middle, and he's all the way up to the 45-yard line. You saw that note, Matthew Stafford, and this is his 49th career game. Has the most passing yards ever in a player's first 50 games of a career. Kurt Warner had 13,864 yards in his first 50 games. And Stafford now up over 14,000 in this his 49th game. Those are staggering numbers. Well, you know what, Brian? It's like you talked about last week. As Bush evades one tackle. We'll hold that thought and check in very quickly with Kurt Menefee.
Well, the Seahawks quickly trying to do the comeback thing down in Houston. Marshawn Lynch, easy 3-yard score. 7.5 left to go. They're within a touchdown at the Texans. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
And actually, that's the kind of test that Seattle needs. They got things rolling, feeling pretty good about themselves. Can they get a comeback on the road? That'll be important for them if they can make that happen.
2nd down and 8. I want to get back to Stafford real quick, Brian. There's no doubt he walked into a situation where this was a terrible Lions team. Stafford will sling it across the middle, and once more it's Durham, who has 3 catches on the afternoon. That's a first down to the 30-yard line.
This is man underneath coverage. He steps up and just a little sidearm flick. That's what a Matthew Stafford does. You know, this guy he can sit in the pocket in a prototypical quarterback, but he's got the full repertoire of throws, to use the Bill Walsh term. And some of the records he's coming up with, names around him: Kurt Warner, Drew Brees, and his 5,000-yard passing season. You know, Matthew Stafford is in some select company with some of the numbers he's putting together. Now it's just got to match up with the wins.
Well, that's what I was getting at, because you brought up with Cam Newton. You know, we visited with Ron Rivera, Cam Newton, and now his 4th year in the league. Christian Ponder, his 2nd year in the league. Leslie Frazier saying, we're all so quick to judge a young quarterback now. But you talked about how, look, you can have all the numbers in the world, but it's got to connotate into wins and then later playoff wins.
And one of the hardest things to do is to separate the evaluation of the quarterback from what's going on around him and the team. And clearly with Detroit still trying to change that culture, and he was a big part of that with Jim Schwartz's first pick in his first draft.
And look, Cutler is facing those same challenges despite the fact that he wasn't a draft pick to the Bears, but they gave up a ton to get him. Highly talented quarterback coming over from Denver. Only once in his career has he ever taken a team to the playoffs, and only one playoff win.
And was not given that contract extension in the offseason. Basically say, okay, let's see how this goes. Upside could be, okay, I'll Joe Flacco it and give me a big number at the end if we win. But like you said, the wins on the field have to match up with the stats you put together.
Third down. Looking for John. I had no chance from the beginning. None.
We've said it to start the game. Matthew Stafford just seems a day late and a dollar short with getting the ball up early enough. You know, never mind the accuracy, but just a little bit behind the count. And I think it is a reflection of being maybe just a little too careful. Now, you know, you can't be careful enough in terms of turnovers. We've been pounding away at how good Chicago is at getting turnovers, but I think it's a reflection of the fact that he's just a bit careful.
Akers with a 43-yard field goal try. Young man who grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, and went to the University of Louisville. That one right down the middle. That's like growing up in Ann Arbor and going to Michigan State. 40-16. Detroit looking to match Chicago at 3-1. Welcome back to Fox Sports coverage of the National Football League. And here in the NFC North, the Lions are clearly making a statement today, Brian. They plan to be right back in it as they were in 2011.
And if they hold on to this, they will be. They'll be atop of the NFC North with the first tiebreaker against these Bears.
And Hester out across the 20 up to the 23-yard line.
This game is sponsored by Ford. Only Ford gives you EcoBoost fuel economy and a whole lot more.
(40-16). Bears in front of Detroit with 8:49 to go. And a first down catch made by Martellus Bennett.
And you asked Tom early, when is it time to push the panic button and change what we're doing? Well, it's right now. You can see they're already into the no huddle. They got a big gap to make up at 40-16. And they got to pick the pace up because now the clock's working against them as well.
Good throw and a good catch once more by Bennett. And that'll be a Chicago first down. Closing in on the 8-minute mark.
We talked about the improvement in Jay Cutler and the more concise game and staying within the offense, but he's also capable of doing this now. This is in his wheelhouse. If I just got to heave the ball down the field.
Cutler can also run it. Of course, that was one of the rallying points that was frequently talked about, Brian, last week. But it did raise a very interesting topic, and I know one that you initially brought up. You know, when Cutler took off on that 13-yard run where he lowered his shoulder into Steeler Robert Golden, and everybody looked at it like it could be a rallying cry for the Steeler, for the Bears quarterback, who's had his ups and his downs with both the fan base and the media, even teammates and coaches in Chicago. On his second down and a yard. And that's a first down inside the 35-yard line, and once more it's Bennett. But if you're a defender, what are you supposed to do?
That was my first thought. I understand, great, it's a competitive Jay Cutler, but we're so much about protecting the players, and you can see Martellus Bennett took a little bit of a shot, and they're checking to see how he's doing. Hopefully that's just a loss of air. But the hit that we're talking about, the first thing that came to mind for me is we keep trying to protect the players. And here's a quarterback that now goes on the offensive. And if I'm a defensive coach and defensive player, I'm going, wait a minute, we're supposed to protect these guys. Now, he's fair game until he gives himself up. So that's a fine line to say, okay, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to hit you. Okay, now you're defenseless and I can't hit you, or now you're going to light me up. I know there was more than a few defensive coaches and defensive players going, come on, what the heck here? You're making life awful tough for us.
Well, things will not be easy. Next week, the Bears come home, back-to-back games at Soldier Field. The Saints, undefeated going into their Monday night matchup at home against Miami. The Giants, who have not won, got to go Washington. And you saw that game lurking a little over a month out. The Packers, who have owned the Bears in recent years. Forte tripped up just short of a first down. There is a penalty flag behind the line of scrimmage.
Holding, offense number 67, 10 yards, still first.
You look at Detroit's schedule, Tom, you talk about the opportunity for Chicago in here, to come in here, get a win on the road. You look at Detroit, they can follow this up and go on the road to Green Bay. The ramifications in the NFC North continue to hold Green Bay down, win another divisional game on the road. What did I tell you the formula? Win at home, split on the road. If you can get that tough divisional road win on top of what looks like it might be a good divisional win at home, Detroit Lions are on the run.
Hand it off to Forte. First down and 20. Have really allowed them to just sort of dink and dunk their way down the field at this point, which will do nothing but chew up time. And the Bears are running out of that.
And why not? You've put them into a 3rd and 10 on a day where they're 0 for 10 are the Bears on 3rd down. And again, we keep talking about the clock. You'll give up yardage as you continue to let that clock wind down.
Last time they went without a 3rd down conversion, another one of those many losses in recent years to the Packers. And they're still without a 3rd down conversion. Now they will go on 4th.
Absolutely.
Well, you would think.
Yeah, there's no upside to kicking the field goal here. If I'm on 11 on 3rd down, maybe I can go 1 for 1 on 4th down. You know, the sheer odds at some point says you're going to convert. So, right, you know, go with the odds. Roll the dice.
Of course, Mark Trestman has not tasted defeat as a head coach in the NFL. But 5:05 away from tasting it today. Caught by Forte, and it is a first down on a 4th down try.
And again, Jake Cutler, you know, the mark of a good quarterback, any quarterback, is the ability to deliver the ball. When the pocket's not right, your fundamentals, your feet aren't right necessarily under, you can't follow through with the ball, throw, all the things that you practice. About 70% of the time, you're not in that environment. And Jake Cutler has the kind of physical ability with his arm strength to make all the throws.
Barely had to lead the game, looks shaken up. And that one thrown out of bounds. Cutler had only been sacked 3 times through the first 3 weeks. He's been sacked 3 times today, and he has been hit a number of times today by Fairley and company.
And we talked about how that rookie right side of the Bears with Kyle Long and Jordan Mills was going to hold up against this extraordinarily gifted interior line of the Detroit Lions with Ndamukong Suh and Nick Fairley.
Blitz coming, and the catch is made by Jeffrey. And the clock will continue to roll. He's down to the 14-yard line, and we're under 4.5 to play.
And the Detroit Lions are just fine with this. That clock, I guarantee you. Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, has got an eye on the clock as much as he does the chains in terms of recognizing what kind of calls he needs to limit the Bears.
Into the end zone, and Jeffrey dropped. Let's go to Los Angeles for a quick update.
The Seahawks were down 20-3 at Houston at halftime, but look at this. Bad throw by Matt Shaw. Richard Sherman takes advantage. 58-yard interception return for a touchdown, and just like that, it's all even at 20. Just over 2 minutes to play in regulation. Tom, Brian, and Laura.
Well, you said it, Brian. Look out for Seattle.
I know there's some people that question, are they really good, you know, and can they go on the road? I don't know.
Me.
They look pretty good to me.
Into the end zone, and it's had a touchdown. It is. Jeffrey dropped the one a moment ago, and this time he just snatches it away from Darius Slay, and that is Cutler's first touchdown of the game.
Well, he throws back shoulder to Martellus Bennett, back shoulders to Brandon Marshall, and there's one to Alshon Jeffrey. He's a non-discriminating quarterback when it comes to the back shoulder throws for touchdowns.
That's a nice catch.
Great hands, great strong hands.
Jeffrey took better care of himself. Worked out with Brandon Marshall down in Florida during the winter time. Significantly dropped his body fat. A lot of confusion going on here for the Lions.
Well, they weren't sure. You know, you look at your chart, you're going to go for 2, going to go for 1, down 40-22. At that point, you're off the chart.
They're trying to get it down to 16, which was obviously 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions.
It's funny, you sit and do the math. I did that one time. I looked up, I was in this type of game. Someone started screaming in my ear, "Why are we going for 2? Why are we going for 2?" And I said, because I'm the head coach and I want to go for 2, okay? Any more questions about that?
All right, coming up. All right, here you go, Brian. Give me the winners and losers here. Eagles v. Broncos.
Ooh, they're in Bronco land, high altitude. I'm going with the Broncos.
Chargers v. San Diego.
Cowboys just, I feel like the Godfather. Every time they pull me in, I'm trying to get out. I'm going with the Chargers.
And the Redskins winless at the Raiders.
The Raiders are so misunderstood. That football team, the Redskins.
And now the 2-point conversion. And they're going to throw it out there again to Jeffrey, and again he beats Slay on a touchdown, and now a 2-point. So that makes it a 40-26 game, and we have 4 minutes to play in Detroit.
I know.
40-24, and you figure the onside kick coming from the Bears. In fact, they've got Calvin Johnson along with Joy Bell, Brandon Pettigrew, all waiting on this onside kick, and handled by Durham at the 47-yard line. Go ahead, Brian. It's all yours.
All right, Fox tonight. You have to you have what it takes to survive the return of animation domination. It's 2 epic hours that'll give you all your season workout. That's what it says here. Don't miss the season premiere of your animation domination favorites. It all starts with Kristen Wiig, guest stars with The Simpsons tonight on Fox.
It's a strong finish.
Keep your hands
after
off.
a very shaky start.
Keep your hands off my promos, man. We got to see a whole bunch of ground and pound here by the Detroit Lions. Classic 4-minute offense. It's all about getting 2 first downs is all you need.
Joique Bell back to the line of scrimmage. Really not a huge offensive day for Stafford.
But just the 1 interception.
Yep.
You know, that was the key. We said that was the formula before when they beat him here. 142 yards by Reggie Bush. Job at best had 163. So that formula we laid out there, run the ball, obviously no turnovers or limit the turnovers. That's exactly what they've done at home.
But the Bears turned it over 4 times.
Right.
And they haven't needed the big offensive numbers except from Reggie Bush. Second down at 11. Ball at the Detroit 45-yard line. Well, it's a big game looking ahead now to next week for Chicago. They'll be at home against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Stafford to throw. Caught by Johnson to the Chicago 35-yard line.
And that's just what we said. You got to generate first downs. You got to know you're going to run. The linebacker stepped up with the quick play fake, opening it one-on-one on the backside for Calvin Johnson. Now it puts you back on schedule. Let's pound away here and finish this game out.
And again, not a big day for Johnson. 4 catches, 44 yards. Does have a touchdown.
Right, the average that he gets against Chicago. That numbers I gave you to start the game were the 2 games last year. We had 8 receptions for 100 yards, and the ball comes out. Of course it does. This is the Chicago Bears.
Joique Bell had the football, had it stripped out of there. Luton's the guy at the bottom of the pile. Don't know if he's the one that has the football or not. But it looked like the Bears did recover it.
Yep. Jim Schwartz knowing right here, this is the classic 4-minute. All I need is a couple first downs. Secure the ball, get your hand on it, secure it, and sometimes the ball comes out. He wasn't loose with it, but at all costs, you got to hold on to the ball. And not necessarily by design. The ball, his hands just kind of came down, and out comes the ball. But the Detroit Lions, if they're going to be the team they think they can be, you've got to be able to finish out games, and that means a 4-minute offense. Not just coming back from behind in 2 minutes, but putting the game away with a 4-minute mentality that we're not going to give the ball back to our opponent.
Second fumble recovery of the season and forced fumble for Luton. Nick Fairley, by the way, is back in there for Detroit. And naturally, after every change of possession, along with every scoring play, they look at it just to make sure upstairs. For 3 weeks, we told you Stafford had already eclipsed 1,000 yards. One of 4, that's right, 4 quarterbacks already. Over 1,000 yards passing through the first 3 weeks of his season. It's unbelievable, isn't it, Coach, the numbers being put up?
Well, like we said, he's in pretty select company there. We already talked about the Kurt Warner in the first 50 games matching what he did. He all but his 48 games. And so that's pretty select company. If indeed the Detroit Lions can continue to grow as a team, if and when the wins come, he certainly has the statistics to go with being labeled as an elite quarterback.
So those are the numbers. Those are very good yardage numbers. better than a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Where would you like to see that number be, Brian, that ratio?
Well, Peyton Manning is a 2-to-1 touchdown ratio. Now, guys like Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, they're 3-to-1. So you got to give them, you'd love to be in that rare air. But with Peyton Manning at 2-to-1, that ain't bad either. But at the minimum, it's got to be 2-to-1.
Well, you got to wonder what is taking so long. I mean, we could see, unless they thought forward progress had stalled Joique Bell before the strip by Woot.
After review, the ruling of the field stands. There was no clear recovery, fumble, first down.
All right.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Chicago Bears are probably going to throw the ball again here. That's after 40 years of extensive history here as a coach and that keen eye I have for the game.
I tell you,
Nothing
what
gets
I've
by
always
me.
loved about you, never been afraid to go out on a limb.
Nothing gets by me.
Hit as he threw, and it still floats into the arms of Marshall, who's spun down to the ground. Kurt Menefee is standing by, getting us ready for the second game of our doubleheader.
Yeah, and something tells me that Peyton Manning will throw the ball as well. He's thrown 12 touchdown passes through 3 games, most in NFL history in that span. His Broncos will host the Eagles in America's Game of the Week when you guys are done. Tom and Brian?
Tell you what, Kurt, you and Brian,
We're all over it, aren't we?
yeah, to be able to step out there like that and not be afraid, public reaction, who cares?
I'm thrilled to death that Kurt's still listening to me.
Oh, he's listening. Bears going to try to get one more play off before the 2-minute warning, which they will do. Cutler being chased by Willie Young and caught by Marshall, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning. 1:56 to go. Detroit on its way.
Oh, the Ravens.
They're down. Yeah. (40 to 24). And now Cutler throws to Bennett, and that's to the 18-yard line. As we're down to 1:15, down to 1:45. In the air and incomplete.
They've hit enough of those back shoulder throws. They need to launch one up just right into the corner of the end zone, because those corners are kind of looking for him right now. Give that little stutter and drop it into the barrel right in the corner of the end zone.
Pretty good coverage right there by Jonte Green. Or the Lions rather, lost Rasheem Mathis. Concussion-like symptoms very early in this game. They've had to play Darius Slay ever since. Flag down.
Illegal contact, defense number 54. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
So I'd like to remind you, coming up on the Pepsi Game Break show, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Michael Strahan was the only member of the pregame show crew, Coach, to pick the Lions to win this game today. It's not over yet. 16-point spread with 1:23 left. Brandon Marshall tackled to the 10. Bears have 2 timeouts left. And trying to hurry up. Cutler willing his team to pick up the pace. I mean, you can say that, odds are long, but stranger things have happened. We're taking a lot of time. getting his play off. Flag down, that ball dropped by Earl Bennett. And Jonte Green in coverage might get the penalty. We'll see. Maybe that ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, it looked like, so perhaps that's why Green was unable to handle it.
The ball was tipped, therefore there's no pass interference on the offense. Third down.
And obviously that negates the pass interference. This big tall line of the Ziggy Ansah, one of my BYU Cougars, getting those big paws up, tipping the ball.
That's right.
Oh, hey, I paid my alumni dues.
Cutler dancing around to the end zone. Bennett hangs on this time, and that's a touchdown. This game is not over yet. If the Bears find a way to get this two-point conversion, and it's the only hope they have, is to get the two-point conversion before the onside kick.
Get an onside kick, score a touchdown, get another two-point conversion. What was the old Don Meredith line? Fat lady ain't singing, but she's humming real good.
But still, it's happened before.
Yeah, and you learn from this. You know, you put your team in this situation. You act as though it takes the 2-point to win the game. You practice the heck out of it.
By the way, that was their first third down conversion of the game in their 13th attempt. And they get the two-point conversion to Marshall in the back of the end zone. They will take a look at that to make sure, but all of a sudden, 43 seconds left, and if the field call stands.
Now you can see Marshall's here at the bottom of the screen working the end line. Jay Cutler working back to him. This is a strong man right here. Keep that ball up above your head. Maintain possession. He knows he's got to do it all the way to the ground and throughout. That's a big lean catch. Again, I don't know what you tell Bentley, the DB. I mean, he's got it covered about as good as you can cover it.
Well, Marshall, a two-point conversion. Say the Bears have not phoned it in.
No, not at all. Not in the least. And you applaud that. There's any number of times that they could have seen, look, it's just the handwriting's not on the wall. But like you said, the number of situations that you practice this all the time. You get the ball back, 43 seconds. They've got 2 timeouts left.
Well, they scored 16 points to get within 8. And now, Gold will try it again. He kicked to the left side the last time. Left side this time. And Durham, for the second time, covers it up. Blake Costanzo and Joique Bell exchanging shoves and words. These two teams will see each other again. The next time will be at Soldier Field.
You know, the front line's supposed to take out the kickoff team, protect the guy on the back end. They got a free runner there. He took a hit for it, but he took one for the team, covering up on the ball.
Well, I think the Lions took exception to that hit that was delivered by Jonathan Bostic, and I got to be honest with you, Brian, I don't blame him. I mean, Durham's laying on the ground, and this is a spear shot right to the back.
Yeah, it is, and I'm surprised that it's not a penalty. He's clearly down, yeah, and that's just leading with the head, hoping something can come out.
Well, that's going to do it unless the Bears are going to go ahead and take a timeout.
Timeout, Chicago. There's
which they will. They have
timeout.
2 left and now 1 left.
Yeah, and every coach has a chart that says how much time with how many timeouts. The Bears, even with the timeout, are going to run out of downs here. So unless they do something stupid like the Miracle in the Meadowlands and fumble the ball, this should be it.
Well, Jim Schwartz's team did not win a game in inside the NFC North last year as the Bears will take their final timeout.
Timeout, Chicago, their third and final, 32nd.
Talking about a team that 2 years ago was in the playoffs. Of course, the Bears, their coach Lovie Smith, who, despite winning 83 games over the last 6 years, did not make the playoffs in 5 of those 6 seasons. And he was replaced as head coach when they brought in Mark Trestman. America's Game of the Week coming up next. Some will see the Eagles and the Broncos. Others will see Dallas and San Diego. Very few will see the Redskins in Oakland. That's going to do it. That's a big win for the Lions. So the Lions and the Bears sit atop the NFC North, both at 3-1. Green Bay Packers will try and get to 2-2. Nick Fairley scores his first career touchdown. We thank our producer Bob Stenner, our director Greg Scopatoni, Mark Titleman, our replay producer. Up here in the booth, Tom Barbary, our statistician, Scott Snyder, our spider. Let's send it back to Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.